tensions or those rifts?
Well, you have to talk to people. And people, ultimately, people share a lot of common concerns. Um, Clearly, we have always, in the city of New York, the expansion of certain communities has always, it's been part of the changing nature of the city of New York. Certain ethnic demographics, for example, once upon a time, Carroll Gardens was very Norwegian, and that clearly changed dramatically, and Carroll Gardens has changed dramatically again in more recent years. So that is part of that sort of ebb and flow dynamic. The problem,
One of the concerns in particular is the notion of affordable housing. And certainly in the Orthodox community, family is a integral part, if not a daily part, and children live near their parents and want to live near their parents and continue generation upon generation. There's clearly a lack of
have gotten off those roles, and there's now an effort to bring them back on because the correct reporting wasn't done. We also need to address, which is really a federal issue, but there's a lot of energy around addressing the AMI calculation, which is how development gets done, and what's affordable is a percentage of AMI, and AMI does not reflect New York. Really, or not the city, and certainly not Brooklyn's area median income, right? So that there's that. The other thing is we need to build, in many cases, larger apartments. That was something I know that was proposed at Atlantic Yards. For families, you really need larger apartments. And the city, in order to get more affordable housing, often builds smaller units, too many, studios, too many one bedrooms, and people then need the second bedroom, or they need a third bedroom. And obviously, in some cases, people need more. So
tremendous concern, I think, which is probably in the news all over the place. And certainly I saw something this morning with regard to a recent attack, I think Saturday in Sunset Park. Crime is clearly on the rise throughout the city, and certainly in Brooklyn. And something needs to be done. There's clearly
relationship with different communities is such that the community feels less safe with more police, and other communities feel more safe with more police. So I think, number one, it's about medical people respond to a medical crisis. When someone is having a mental breakdown, police are not the best responders. People who are trained to work with people who are in the middle of a mental health crisis are much better able and much more safely able to address those issues. And we know when we have community-based organizations that can work on safety and work on, for example, violence interruption efforts, they are much more successful than just sending in a bunch of police. So I think stand up for
with regard to
the needs of the other.
Saw that one of the mayoral candidates, I'm not going to ask you to weigh in on any of those races, but one of those candidates perhaps is advocating for a what I will label a tax on deliveries from Amazon as a way of boosting revenue for the cash-strapped city. At the same time, a zip code within Brooklyn, 11219, was found to be the most populous Amazon businesses located in the United States.
Huh.
So how can you make those two kind of jive at the same time? The need for local businesses, while at the same time you have local entrepreneurs within 11219 who are going to be hurt as a result of that tax or that added cost onto each delivery, or by those people who are advocating for brick and mortar, as opposed to those people who derive a living and a livelihood from a Amazon business within Brooklyn.
So you're saying that the businesses themselves were the customers of Amazon?
The actual business people who have these Amazon-based businesses, the most popular zip code is 11219. So those people are going to either be taxed themselves under this theory, or they're going to have to pass the cost onto their customer, which will result in increased costs, and they end up losing their savings. They, as a business owner, are going to be put out.
Okay, so assuming all of those things to be true, we need to address that. But the reality is that, if they're once upon a time, people got deliveries. And not as frequently. I look at my block and I see how many people have Amazon boxes outside their houses. And sometimes you get 2, 3, 4, 5 things delivered in a day. One of the things, for example, this group that is allowing you to buy on their platform from various local businesses, they delivered all at the same time. So that's one thing. So there is this issue of the notion of a regressive tax for a fee for the delivery. On the other hand, I think that from what I understand, the proposal is a way to decrease the excessive ordering online, like my neighbor's ordering 4 or 5 things a day and getting 3 or 4 different packages a day. And the other thing is we had a lot of non-compliance. And when you look at countries where there were very strict shutdowns and people complied, they are now going about their daily lives because they weren't arguing over the restrictions. Now, different communities, different countries react differently. Americans all wanted to argue that somehow or other they knew better. Did they know better? Probably not. Did they think they did? Yes. Is government acting too precipitously? Probably in this instance, government didn't act precipitously enough in some ways. But the reality is that part of the reason we're in the mess we're in is because many people weren't compliant with the social distancing, with the wearing of masks. We know that many people really, oppose that. And then we have people who were compliant but are fearful of going out because there is still an infection out there, right? There's a virus out there. And many people have caught COVID who were in fact wearing masks and whatnot because others around them weren't. So I think that this is not a simple government is exercising too much authority. I think we need to always in government keep looking at whether or not we're doing the right things. So believe me, when I say there were massive amounts of violence that was unnecessary around some of those marches, right? Some of the tactics that the NYPD was using was ridiculous. And many of us were, around at the time, and friends of mine were involved in those things. And so, I think it is not entirely fair to compare all these things as if they are apples and apples. Sometimes they're apples and oranges.
Thank you so much. I thank you for taking time out of your schedule. I know you're probably being pulled in a million different places, especially on a Sunday morning. So thank you very much. The best of luck.
Thank you.
Hope to see you down on Jerome Street.
I hope to see you there too. Thank you so much.
All right. All the best. Thank you again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.